Hello everybody, this is the update video on the roof. My roof's done. I'm not happy with the job they done. Reason being is when I agreed for him to do the roof, the owner of the company had told me him and his brother and his son were going to come do the roof, just for the fact that I have ABC seamless siding on my house, and the way it was installed and comes down to the roof line of the lower roofs, they were going to have to either butt the roof panels up against the siding and screw into it and then put caulking on it, or they were going to have to actually cut along the bottom side of the bottom edge of the siding and slip the roof panels up underneath. And I said, well, which way is the proper way? And he says, well, the lip needs to go up underneath the siding. He says, but some people are particular about their siding getting cut and they don't want their siding cut, so we just butt up against it, screw it to it, screw the roof panels to it, and then go and caulk it. And I said, caulking's only going to last so long, that'll be leaking, and then you're going to have issues with your roof. I said, no, you're going to cut it. And he said, well, being you want it cut, he says, or if that's the way you want it done, he says, if you do decide to have us do your roof, he said, it'll be me and my brother and my son coming doing it, because he says I could send a group of Mexicans out and they could have it done in 2 days. He says, but being the roof is, or the siding's gonna be cut and tucked up underneath the roof panel is gonna be tucked up underneath the siding, and I got to cut the siding. I'd rather me and my brother and my son come and do it, and that way I know it's done right, because these guys don't know nothing about siding. And I said, well, I'll let you know for sure if we're going to go with you. Well, we end up going to the bank, getting a loan, had to send half the money up front, had to have it, his quote was only good for like 30 days, so I had to get him half the money before that 30 days was up, so we did. And I told him that I wanted the siding cut and tucked up underneath. So he said, all right, well, me and my brother and my son will be out to do it. He said it'd be towards the end of July. It got into be the first week of August. My wife asked me if I heard from him. I said no. So she called him and asked him where they're at, when they, how soon he thought they'd be out to start on our roof. And he said, oh, we're looking towards the end of August now. We're way behind. She said, okay, fine. 2 days later, he sends me a text and says, I'll be there Monday. He says, we'll be there Monday to start on your roof. Be done by Tuesday. I said, a lot of you guys seen the trailer loaded with material. I've done a video on that. He come parked that on Sunday. We were gone, come home, and that stuff was there. So I thought, yep, he's going to get on it on Monday. Monday morning shows up. Here's a group of 6 guys running around. And I thought, oh, he decided to send his brother with his group, with his crew that he has. And so then I went out looking for his brother, and I didn't see no white guy. So I went in and I said, get Kyle on the phone. It's not him, and it's not his brother's crew. It's the crew that he talked about sending, the group of Mexicans, as he called them. And I said he wasn't going to have them do it for the fact the siding had to be cut. I want that siding, or that roof panels tucked up underneath the siding. So she called him. He was rude with her, said they know what they're doing. She said, yeah, but you said you and your brother and your son were doing it for the fact the siding had to be cut. I think he kind of forgot about that. And then when he came, he tried blaming me and say, well, you were indecisive whether you wanted the siding cut. I thought we were just buttoning it up and caulking it. And I told him, I said, no, I told you I wanted it done right, that you would cut the siding, because caulking's only going to last so long and start leaking. He said, you're right. He says, so me and my brother and my son will come do the job and cut it. And that was our agreement. But then he's trying to pass the buck on me like I was indecisive, so he decided to have this crew come do it. Well, they end up messing up my gutters, bent a couple gutters. All the other gutters they hung, they didn't hang them right. They ain't got the right pitch or drop on them. They had too much or whatever. Some of them actually going the wrong direction. It's sloping away from the drain pipe. But just continue watching this video. I already recorded this video several weeks ago, showing all the stuff that they screwed up that I'm not satisfied with. But that gives you a little insight of what you're going to be seeing is all the screw ups. But I'll show you these gutters here on the ground. They're 2 41-foot gutters. He had a siding guy come yesterday, a gutter and siding guy come and roll these out. They are the proper die. They have the same die pattern on them, and they claim they're ABC material, but they're not. My ABC gutters have a wood grain print on the finish. It's kind of a wood grain on it. and this is just the flat, smooth stuff. And he tries telling me that it's actually ABC material, but I know it's not. It's Dimco. I looked up the guy's website, the contractor that come out and rolled these out for him yesterday, and he even told my wife on the phone that he buys material from Dimco. It's the same as ABC material, and actually ABC buys their material exclusively from Arrow, and another company that actually makes their gutter material and their siding material, the steel coil stock. So this is Dimco material, because one, it is the proper die. It's a ABC die, and he says he's an affiliate with ABC on his website. It doesn't say that he's ABC seamless siding gutter dealer. He's just they're an affiliate of his. So in other words, he's using their name to sell, and he's selling probably cheaper quality material. But anyhow, he tries saying this is better than what I had on there, but it don't match the other gutters. So these two long gutters are just going to lay here on the ground and rot as far as I'm concerned. I got to count my losses. Once I get the roof paid off and get my Morton building paid off and be out of debt, then I'm going to see about ABC Seamless come and replace these two gutters that are messed up. And the other 3 or 4 gutters that aren't hung right, they're going to come and straighten them out, but that might be 4 or 5 years down the road. Call me bullheaded, but that's the way it is. I'm going to show you these long gutters, and then you watch the rest of the video. Right there they are, 2 gutters. Like I said, these gutters are 41 feet long, and the contractor that done my roof, they were going to come and hang these themselves. Of course, you see they don't even have the ends in them or the holes cut for the downspout. The guy gave them the template to cut out the ends and do all that, but if I'm going to have somebody hang gutters, it's going to be somebody that does it every day, not a roofing company come and hang my gutters. So as far as I'm concerned, these are junk. They're just going to lay here and rot. I'll be danged if I'm going to go and install these on my house. Well, watch the rest of the video and see y'all later. Thank you. Don't forget I love you. Bye. Hello everybody. I'm giving you the update of the roof. I'll be honest with you, I don't like doing videos like this, but I'm keeping it real and showing you. I'm going to turn the camera around because it's going to be getting dark. Sun's already headed down. I'm going to try and get a shot of this roof. The moon's actually out right now. But I'll give you a shot the best I can. And I already went around and pre-recorded things I don't like about the roof, or things that actually pissed me off. Anyways, I'm going to turn the camera around and let you get a shot of the roof, and then I'll continue on. Okay, there's the roof. I'm sorry it's getting dark. It's done for the most part, and I'm going to add all the parts about this roof, or about the quality of the work they've done, to the rest of this. So you're going to see my complaints. From a distance, people drive by, clear down the highway, they'd say, oh, that's a nice looking roof, but I'm going to add this stuff to this video and show you the crap that I do not like. Here's the gutter on the front of my house. And as you can see, if you look at the roof line, it's got way too much drop over here. That's one complaint. You can tell it's going downhill, and it's got a low spot right there. Also, the edge of this roof ain't square. It tapers back. So there's little wedges in here, as you can see, but there ain't none in the middle. There's 2 down there. There's 1 here. There's 1 right here. And there's 2 of them, one stacked on top of the other. They should be, there was originally 1 right here. About every 1.5 feet or so they went across here. They only replaced about half of them. And because I had to take them off to put some kind of piece of flashing down off the edge of the roof by that gutter. And they took this loose and lost half them wedges and didn't put them back in the proper spots, the ones that they did put back. when they take the drip edge off the original roof, they have to tear them off. They end up tearing this trim loose. Of course, when they screwed that on, they didn't get it back in its place, and now I got a big gap there. There's a couple places like that. I don't know if you can tell, but right up there in the corner where these trim pieces going up this roof line, right up there, there's a dent in that siding, right up that top corner. They done a poor job notching that out, and they got caulking with some grit that they threw on there to match the roof all patched around there, but that siding's dented in. Up here by these dormers, them corner trim pieces, they literally removed them completely, took the siding that was on the side of them, down in those little triangular corners. They took them pieces of siding out, ripped them completely out. Well, when they took them corner trim pieces off next to that dormer, they end up bending that metal piece that holds that up there. It was all bent and twisted and practically halfway ripped off the house. So they just kind of straightened them out and screwed them to the house, put that trim piece back on, but that trim piece wouldn't stay on those brackets properly because of them screwing up the bracket that's underneath it that holds it in place. So I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm zooming in the best I can, but right at the bottom of that piece of flashing, there's a brown screw screwed right through the face of that piece of trim. So there's a screw. There's a screw on this one over here. A screw. There's a screw right over here on this one. And I'm not sure on this other side. But there's several other spots that I found screws stuck through where they shouldn't ever needed one. This is the gutter in the front that he said he's going to be replacing. As you can see, it's dented up there and it's dented there. And if you step back a ways, it dips down. You can really see the bend in it. And they also don't have the right pitch on that. This is probably closest one to having the proper pitch as far as the drop going across there. 1/4 inch for every 10 feet. These 3 gutters over here on this side of the house, same way, they're not hung right. This one has a hell of a twist and bend in it. Basically, it's twisted. This end, well, actually in the middle, it slopes this way, away from that downspout. That downspout is supposed to have an elbow on it. I caught one of the guys taking that elbow that belonged up there, was headed to the trash with it. And I took it from him, I put it on my bench, on my deck. And that downspout over there is the same way. It don't have a downspout on it. It's laying on the bench where they taken it off and placed it when they originally took it off. That downspout's twisted. This is the one that's the closest to being right, but it ain't. The edge of that roof, it tips in at the bottom. It's angled. There's wedges underneath there. I'm sure they kept them square because they were square when ABC put them on. I see that gutter has a little bit of a metal or bend in the metal or a ding at the bottom side of it. I'd live with it if they got up there and put wedges in there and straightened them out and leveled them up, or actually have them drop 1/4 of an inch. That's not quite 10 feet, but if that end was a 1/4 inch higher than that end and they squared it up and got that twist out of it, I'd live with it. I don't like the fact it's got a dent in it, but who's going to notice it, I guess, up here? Somebody walking around picking my house apart. But right there's another piece of trim. It's even kind of cocked and crooked, and it's got a screw through the face. This one has 2 screws on the one side, 1 on the other. That one has a screw in it, that corner trim. I'm just disgusted with the quality of work that they done. The only reason like I said, the only reason I actually went with them, said that I was going to let them do my roof, is because the owners themselves said they were going to do it. And I figure they didn't want to make a bad name for themselves. And so that's why I went with them. I thought, well, we're going to get the best work out of any of them because we're having the owners do it themselves, not some fly-by-night construction guy that they hire on the side. Something else I'm not satisfied with this roof is the lips on them metal shingles or metal roof panels. They put a screw in the front of them and kind of slightly taper downward, screwing into the 2x2, which if you've seen my previous video, you would have noticed the 2x2 grid that they lay down on the roof, screw it to. One thing I don't like about it is the fact that they use screws that don't have washers with the little rubber grommet or rubber sealer on the back. It's just plain old metal screws. Second thing I don't like about this roof is this very bottom row. They take screws rather than screw through the face of that. They go down through the top. So the screws are on top where all the rain comes down, where the rain runs down the roof. There's a screw going through, and they don't even have rubber grommets on them. So how well do you think they're going to keep the moisture out of that bottom? Those heads, the rain's going to get around the head of that screw because it's not sealed. It's going to work its way down through those metal or that one metal panel, I should say, and it's going to leak and go right into that 2x2, and eventually that 2x2 is going to hold that moisture. It's going to rot. Them screw holes are going to be loose. Wind's going to blow that and eventually take that edge of that roof loose over time. Might not be right away, but it'll be over time. That whole bottom row 2x2 is going to be rotted. This is the gutter on the back side of the house, and you can see there's a wrinkle in that. It's bent. There's also a second one right there. And if you come over here, there's a dent right there, bulging outward. Here's where they removed the piece of trim from my house. And in a second here, I'll show you where they reattached it. There's where they reattached it, up there in the corner. And as you can tell, there's about almost 2 feet of it from there going up to the roof line underneath the overhang. It has nothing there. The trim piece that holds that corner trim on is exposed, and where the siding slides in holds in place. That's where they put that piece of trim. They took it off one spot of my house and put it on another.